What would you do if the only place you had to call home was your car? And one morning, even that was taken away from you. This is the heartbreaking reality for Medina, a young woman who found herself standing before Judge Frank Caprio. Her car had been booted, her life already weighed down by homelessness, personal struggles, and the pain of being stalked. To many, her case might have looked like just another file in a courtroom. But to Judge Caprio, every file is a life, every story a chance to show compassion. Medina stood quietly, her voice carrying the exhaustion of someone who had been through far too much for her age. "Good morning," she whispered. Judge Caprio, with his trademark kindness, responded, "Good morning, Medina." She admitted her vehicle had been booted. But then came the truth. She was homeless, moving from family member to family member, until even that door closed. For nights, her car was her only shelter. Now with the boot, even that small space of safety had been taken. Judge Caprio leaned forward gently, asking the kind of question many judges might overlook. "Where do you live?" Her answer was simple. "I don't." She shared her story, her struggles with autism, her unfinished education, her battles with relationships, and her attempts to find work despite her circumstances. She had only $5 to her name. $5, that was all she carried in her purse. Think about that for a moment. In a world where some of us spend that much on coffee without a second thought, this young woman was holding on to it as her only lifeline. Judge Caprio could have followed the book, fines, fees, penalties. But that is not who he is. His courtroom is often called the kindest courtroom in America for a reason. He listens. He sees people, not just their mistakes. "You've gone through a lot," he said softly, acknowledging her pain. The fines totaled hundreds of dollars, far more than Medina could ever pay. But then came a moment of grace. Judge Caprio reached into a special fund, the Filomena Fund, named after his beloved mother. This fund exists because people from all over the world trust Judge Caprio to do what he does best, to help those who need it most. From that fund, he covered $300 of her fines. "You will owe $100, he told her, "and I'll give you 1 month to pay. If you can't, come back to me. If things haven't changed, I'll make arrangements for the rest to be taken care of." Tears filled her eyes as relief washed over her face. In that moment, it wasn't just about a car. It was about dignity, about someone finally seeing her struggle and extending a hand. But Judge Caprio didn't stop there. He asked, "Do you have money to eat?" She admitted she often survived on just one meal a day, a meal from the restaurant where she worked, offered free to employees. Without hesitation, Judge Caprio arranged for $50 in cash from the Filomena Fund so she could eat. For most of us, $50 is small. For her, it meant survival. The courtroom, once heavy with her pain, now carried a small smile. Judge Caprio even tried to lighten her heart with gentle humor, reminding her not to order lobster every night. He wanted her to feel like a human being again, not just a case number. And then came his words of wisdom, words that reflect why so many admire him. "Everybody deserves a chance in life. It's easy to be strict and say, 'I'm sorry, that's it.' But I try to take people's personal situation into account. You've faced challenges and you've been honest. That's why I want to help you." Medina left the courtroom not only with her car restored, not only with money for food, but with something far more valuable, hope. Judge Caprio reminded her, "When things turn around for you, help someone else. That's what life is about, helping others." That is the essence of Frank Caprio. A man who believes justice is not just about the law, but about humanity. Sparkles as we reflect on this story, we see why people all over the world have fallen in love with Judge Frank Caprio. His kindness reminds us that behind every case, there is a human being with struggles we may never fully understand. He treats people with dignity, with respect, and with the kind of compassion that can change a life. So I leave you with this question. If you were in Judge Caprio's seat, would you have seen just the fines? Or would you have seen the person? Judge Caprio chooses the person every time. And maybe that's what our world needs most. A little more compassion and a little more heart.